Today on our Sunday meeting. So, today we are going to start reading the book Happy Life um, by from Divaldo Franco by Joanna de Angelis. Be open to new concepts and ideas. Talk them over and compare them to what you already know and think, making the best of the new information. Sound ideas reinvigorated your emotions, supplying the sentiments with motivation and enthusiasm. No one is so wise or complete that he or she can dispense with further learning or additional contributions for inner growth. Learn more by being receptive to fresh input. So let's start with our prayer. Let's close our eyes. Let's be centered, bringing ourselves to this moment, to this place. Let's go thank you, God, our spiritual guides, our mentors, saying thank you for being here and having our open hearts to receive all the good energy and all the learnings that are coming to this Sunday. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So, as always, the message that was read by the Happy Life book, it's very in tune with what I was going to share with all of you this morning. So humbleness, that's how I understood from this message, right? So we all have our own knowledge in many different subjects, and we all want to tell people, I believe, to share the knowledge that we have, our thoughts, our ideas. I think that's natural from human nature, especially with the ones that are close to us, right? Our families, our friends, co-workers. If we manage in our jobs, I'm sure, right, you want to teach others how to do their job. That's part of our job description if we're a manager, right? But how can we do that with humbleness? And that's the thing. So who are our most perfect example of humbleness on earth?
Jesus.
Yes. Jesus, right? He knows everything that we need to know. And although, how did he do? How did he come to teach us his wisdom, his knowledge? Did he come as an angel with wings, full of light, like the light that would even blind us, and said, listen, I am the messenger. I know everything. All you need to do is listen and do what I tell you to do. Was that his way of teaching us? Was that his behavior? So what did he do? As far as we know, right, by history, by books, by the apostles, the people who were there with him, who walked side by side with him, was the opposite, right? So how did he teach us? Is teaching us with his example. And yes, he used words, and he has to, of course. Communication is a part of teaching, right? I'm a teacher, so communication is a part of the teaching, of course. But he did not put himself bigger than us. He told us, you can do as much as I do and even more. That was one of his teachings. So he came, instead of he being very big and show us how small we are, and we still are, if you compare, right, us with Jesus. It's like if we're babies and he's like a grandfather. That's the distance that I see. To me, it's easier to see that way, like to picture that. But he kind of got on his knees and talked to us. And it's like, you can do that. That's the way. That's the path that I took. Because for our understand, Spiritism, what we learned is like we are all God's creation. We're all brothers and sisters. And that we were created the same way as molecules, very little. And we start growing, developing, and then evolving until we get the point that we're human beings right now. And now we have free will at this point, and now we can make choices to become better, to grow. And who is our model? And that's what we learned in the Spirit's book, Jesus. So Jesus came to earth to tell us, not that he's the biggest one and I'm perfect and you all are so small, you're never gonna make it. It's the opposite. He came to us and said, it's possible to do what I do. It's possible to be light. It's possible to get closer to God. And he even said that, you're all gods. He said that. So, and what do we do in our everyday lives? Do we do the same thing with the people that we teach, or the people that we think are in a less privileged situation that we are talking about? I'm mostly talking about knowledge and mentally, and instead of physically. So I'm more talk about that. So yes, we all have lots of knowledge, and especially when we start studying Spiritism, we learn a lot, and it's very common for us to want to share what we learned. But we need to be careful, and we need to look at the others around us as also individuals who have their own truth, who have their own knowledge, and we can never know everything that we cannot learn. from others and even from children. I'm a teacher, I work with children every day, and I learned from the children a lot, especially about myself. And I believe that's the most important thing that we can learn from others is learning about ourselves. How? Because if you look others with the eyes of understanding, comprehending, like we said, step on other shoes, we can learn about ourselves too. So we can learn our own imperfections, we can learn our own limitations, and we can see that we're not perfect, and also respect the other's point of view, respect where they are at. And that's what Jesus did to us and to his disciples. They're all different, they're all imperfect. But he was able to look at them and see the best inside of them and use the best of them to help others. So that's the best way. So how we relate to one another, and that's our main purpose in life. It's our main purpose in life, to love one another. Jesus told us that too. Love God with all your heart and mind, and love others as you love yourself. So for us to love others and to love ourselves, we need to know ourselves, first of all, learn about ourselves, understand, comprehend, be compassionate towards ourselves, and the same towards others. That's what makes our best relationship with everyone. So again, we are here to learn, to love, to forgive, to learn how to relate with each other. And that's the simplest way, like Jesus did. And when others came and questioned him, what did he do? Did he yell, did he scream? It's like, I know everything, I know the truth, I have the truth, and you don't know nothing. Although that was the truth, but he never said that. He just silent and did not say anything. You respect. It's like if you know when we argue with a 2-year-old, you're not supposed to do that because, it's a safety thing, or mostly safety, right? When we deal with the 2-year ones. We're going to argue with them? No. Because it's like waste of time, right? They cannot comprehend. So we do what we have to do, but it's not arguing. It's like, I know better, you have to. It's not that way. It's not what Jesus taught us how to do it. So the message that I got from this book, Living Spring, by Chico Xavier and the Spirit Emmanuel, and if you want to read afterwards, I just took some few words from here, is called Incomprehension, and that's chapter 72. So that's Emmanuel told us about Paul the Apostle. That's what he did. He followed Jesus. And what did he do? He went smaller to talk to the smaller ones, and try to be the same level, right? So we can understand the others. And the first step to do it is listen. Like the message that was read in the beginning. Like listen to our children. Many times we don't do that. Listen to our partners. Listen to the people that we work with. Just listen and try to comprehend their point of view and help as much as we can. And many times, if you put too much light out there, we can blind people. So we have to be we have to be careful how much we give. Because if you give too much, it can be too much. It's like if you give too much food to a child, it can be too much and they can feel sick. So this is one of the phrases that I took from this message. If the stars of wisdom and love fill your heart, do not humiliate those who pass under the fog of ignorance and weaknesses. So I have to be careful with that. Cannot throw our truth in front of people. Just be humble and understand and get on their shoes, on their place, on their level. What will become of us if Jesus had not removed his own clarity, his own light, his own, wisdom, making himself like our weakness so that we would witness his redemptive mission? So you can imagine if he came here and say, I am the Savior, and you just have to listen to me and that's it. So probably, I don't know, we would never comprehend and never really listen to him. It's like, oh, no. Who do you think you are? Conserve the constructive energy of respectable example. So that's what Jesus did, right? He set an example to be followed. And if we study children education, we learn that we teach our kids by example much more than by words. But remember that the science of teaching only triumphs integrally in the mentor who knows how to support, wait, and repeat. So support each other, wait, right? Wait until the others are ready or their own pace or their own knowledge, what they really want to learn and to take, or their choices that they want to make, and repeat. And these repeats also we learn in children education that they learn through repetition. And we also learn through repetition. That's why we're still repeating Jesus' teachings. Has been here for more than 2,000 years. And we're still repeating. So finally we can learn and take, not only with our minds, but with our hearts as well. That's when we start acting. When we learned with our minds and we're able to connect mind and heart, that's when we really truly got the message and we start acting as concise with mind, heart, and action. That's what Jesus did. He was always, right, consistent. His words was his actions. But we're not like that. We like to say a lot, but we don't act accordingly what we say. And that's why many people don't believe what we say. Because we say something, but you act the other way. So with our kids, that they're supposed to respect each other, take in turns, be patient, not yell at others. But do we do that? Do we treat others the same way? Are we patient with each other? So they're watching you. The little ones are watching us. They're not going to follow us if we don't give an example. Gradually gradate the manifestations of yourself so that your help does not become destructive. And that's the thing, because sometimes we're so proud and you really believe that we know everything. So you want to teach everybody what we know. And so we become destructive. And some people, even they would understand our message if you were humble. And that's part of a human being, because you want to be accepted. So you want the others to think the way that we think, or the way that we think, or the way that we think is the best. If you don't do that, we think people don't love us. And that's not true. We all have our truth, and that's okay. We don't have to convince anybody. We have to respect. Yes, we should and we can share our beliefs, and that's the biggest part, I think. We have to be who we are and respect others for what they are. Not trying to change anyone and not trying to make anyone follow us, even though if you believe that's the best. Especially with our children, we have to be very careful with that. Because we all come to earth with a plan. We know that. And if you're not careful with our partners, children, family, we can interfere in their plan, and that's a big responsibility. It's like if we believe that our children, I have 2 teenagers now, and they are in their age of they're gonna start, they are already planning what they wanna be in life, professionally, and even different things. So always watch myself not to, I try to be a guide like Jesus did, right? He's our guide, but not to interfere in their free will. Of course, that's what I tell them. It's a safety issue. Sorry, I'm not gonna allow you to do that. I'm a parent and I'm here to keep you safe, but it's not a safety issue. That's a choice that you can make. I'm here to support you. And if it's the wrong choice, that's okay. You had to go through that to learn. I did so many different choices in my life. And that's what made who I am right now. If I have not taken those choices, I would not be here today. And I would not have found Spiritism, I'm sure. So people have to go through different experiences in life to learn the lessons. And we have to be careful, because sometimes we want to protect people that are in our lives, and we don't allow them to grow. And that's the purpose in our lives, is to grow, to learn how to love and to grow. So we have to allow people to make their own choices when they are able to. So that's our message today, to comprehend, to understand each other. But first of all, always remember, have to start with ourselves. We need to understand ourselves, comprehend, so we can do the same to others. Thank you.